Hello, Eurovision friends. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Eurovision Histories. For this, my second video on an Italian entry in only 1 week. Exactly a week ago, I did my video on Ollie's song Balor da Nostalgia that he won Sanremo with. He has now decided not to go to Eurovision for different reasons. And so now the second place of Sanremo, Lucio Corsi, with his song Volevo essere duro, will go to Eurovision, will go to Basel, and will fly the Italian flag in Switzerland. Now, in this video, I want to talk about this entry, Volevo essere duro, give points from 1 to 5 to different aspects of the song and performance as per usual. I will also try to predict how this entry will do for Italy, and we will also look at your votes and comments from the community tab of my channel. This time we had 2 votes, whether you prefer this to Ollie or not, and also how you personally would rate the song from 1 to 5. So let's get right into the analysis of this very interesting entry. I think I always start with the lyrics, and in this case, that makes a lot of sense because you have to understand the lyrics to get this entry as a whole. I have to say that the first time I saw it, I did not listen to the lyrics, I did not get the lyrics, and I was a bit puzzled by the whole thing. But this is why lyrics are important. So let's get to the lyrics. He sings about a tough guy. He wanted to be a tough guy. That's Volevo essere duro means. And there are a lot of metaphors and images of what a tough guy is. So he sings he's a robot, a sumo wrestler, a drug dealer, a gold medalist in a spitting contest, and a judoka with a white belt. So lots of images of stereotypical, some might say toxic masculinity that he describes as the tough guy that he wanted to be. However, then he met reality and he sings, I'm a nobody, I'm scared of the dark. If I get into a fight, they beat me up. How tough is the world for normal people? So he is obviously not the tough guy that he wanted to be. However, he later on in the song says that that is fine. In the end, fleeing from your fears is pointless, he sings. Moons without holes are frauds. So moons that pretend to cover up their holes and their problems and the things that make them imperfect are frauds. In the end, everyone has some kind of an imperfection about them. No one is perfect. And then the ending of the song is, I am no one but Lucio, which I find beautiful and lovely. He kind of wants to say, I have accepted myself. I don't have to be this image of masculinity that people want me to be. I can be myself. However, I think there's also a deeper message in these lyrics, and I always love that when that happens, because he thinks that his mom always told him living life is a kid's game, vivere la vita. This hook of the song is when he says that. At first I thought maybe he meant to say that his mom wanted to tell him, well, you're a guy. If you're a tough guy, living life will be like a kid's game for you because there won't be any obstacles in your way. However, I think now that it's meant more in an ironic way, because obviously living your life and finding your truth, what the song is really about, is very, very difficult and is something that is not like a kid's game at all. And I think in the end, the song is about finding the balance between protecting yourself by projecting an image of maturity, maybe of strength also to the outside world, but at the same time being in touch with your inner self. The thing that you want to protect, you also have to stay in contact with it. And I think the song is about all of these people that pretend to be un duro, a tough guy, try to protect themselves this way, but by doing that and overdoing it, they become a robot. They become someone who no longer is in touch with their inner self, with their real self. And that kind of explains the world we live in at the moment, where lots of people are not nice to each other, where there's a lot of conflict. And maybe that's because so many people pretend to be a tough guy. And by doing that, they no longer can be in touch with their real inner self. And I think there's a lot of references here that could support this theory. For example, saying that tough guys are like robots. They aren't in touch with their feelings. They can't even feel their own feelings because they project this image of toughness to the outside world. And then there's this image of the goose laying golden eggs from mythology. I love references to mythology as well, obviously, where a goose lays golden eggs, and instead of accepting that as a gift from the gods or from life, the people don't just take the golden eggs every day. They kill the goose because they think there's some gold inside the goose. And for me, that's kind of a reference to the greed we see in our world today. Lots of people destroying things, nature, for example, for profit, to seem rich, to seem tough, to be the duro as well in a way, instead of maybe enjoying nature and enjoying what we have, instead of always going after greed. So you have robots, you have greedy people, you have tough people not being nice because they are not in keeping with their own self. And this is a very difficult balance to strike, really, because you do have to protect yourself. And when you show vulnerability, let other people in to see your true self, to see your insecurities as well. You also have to kind of find a balance and not show them too much and hurt yourself by doing that. So a very deep song for me. I'm sure there are way more references in the lyrics as well. I want to do a lyric interpretation video, so if you have other interpretations, do let me know in the comments. There is one more thing, this light metaphor that we have throughout the song that I wanted to mention. He says that a lot of people have too much sun in their glasses, and I thought maybe they are just being blinded by the shiny new object and cannot see what is really in front of them. Another metaphor for them not being in touch with who they really are. And then he also says that sunflowers with sunglasses tell him, watch out for the light. So maybe also watch out for these shiny people that pretend to be something that they're not. But then in mythology again, Apollo is also the representation of the sun. And in Italian, he talks about the sun, not light. And so maybe he's also saying, and Apollo is also a representation of narcissism in some ways. He's the beauty, he's the outward beauty. And so maybe it's also a reference that we can find in there. Probably an overinterpretation, but I love those. If you have been to this channel, do let me know, as I said in the comments, if you have other interpretations for the lyrics. If I guess you noticed that I love these lyrics. I love the message itself, but also the way he expresses it. And so I couldn't do anything but give this 5 points for the lyrics. Now for the voice, he has a very smooth, very soothing vocal tone. The whole performance and the song is very soothing and soft as well. And I really, really like that. It is not a vocal powerhouse performance, but he doesn't need it because he connects with me through this softness in his voice that I really, really love and I've really come to appreciate. And so I gave 5 points for the voice as well. Now for the performance, I have to be honest, the first time I saw him perform on Sanremo, I probably judged the book by its cover. I saw the makeup, I saw the style, the dressing style, and I just thought this is a weird entry, and I didn't really listen to it, and I didn't listen to the lyrics, and that was the reason why I couldn't appreciate it. So I kind of did what he said, what he says in the lyrics. I didn't appreciate him for who he really is. All of the softness, all of the beauty from inside that he has. He seems like a beautiful person, like a wonderful artist as well. He is unapologetically being himself. He does what he wants, and far be it from me to judge him for that or to say that that's wrong. I do think, and the artistry that he has really comes through in the performance. However, I do think that for the general public and also for me, it's a little distracting, this way of dressing and also the makeup. And so in the end, I gave 4 out of 5 points, but I do love the vibe you get from him his personality in this performance. Really beautiful. For the staging, first of all, I wanted to say that I really recommend watching the video for this. It's really cool. It's about a kid that's kind of reprimanded by his dad, then locks himself in, and instead of talking to the kid, they get the priest to perform an exorcism, like not accepting him for who he is either. Watch the video. It's really fun, not fun, but really cool and creative what they did with this song. I think the staging is good enough the way it is. I feel like he really shows that he's a musician. He plays the piano, he plays the guitar as well. I do think it would be nice to have a bit more connection to him as a person, because I think he is very charismatic in his own way. And then the problem at Eurovision will be that almost no one speaks Italian, and translating the message to the audience will be really, really important. Italians obviously got it right away and made him the second place in Sanremo. For Eurovision, you need to find a way to tell this story. I have a lot of hope that they can do that because the video is so incredibly creative. I hope they don't stay with the staging at Sanremo, because I do think that this song really depends on the message and the lyrics, and you need a staging for that. So because of the potential, I gave 3 points, because I like the staging, how it shows him as a musician, but I also think there's a lot of potential for improvement. Now for the song, I've seen a lot of people who have said that it's old-fashioned, that it's boring, that nothing happens in the song. And I understand how you could feel that way. That's my first impression I had of the song. And I also thought, am I just liking this more and more because now it's the Italian entry and I always liked the Italian entry? So am I not being truthful with this? Or did I just judge a book by its cover and didn't really listen to the song? And I think it's the second one. I'll let you judge for yourselves which one is correct. But the song is really a combination of the two things that I think are important to him as an artist, and that's being a cantautore, a singer-songwriter, telling a story, which he does through the lyrics. And also the style of the song, especially at the beginning, is very telling a story, singer, songwriter, cantautore. And then you have the glam rock, which obviously inspires his outfit, his makeup, but also the guitar solos. I love the guitar solos in this. They just add something really interesting. I love the melody. It's very melodious, very soft and beautiful. So it really fits also his whole persona in a way. And when you really listen to it, this is not a simple composition. This is a very intricate composition. There are two hooks, especially Volevo essere duro is one of them, and then Vivere la vita is the other one. And even in between these hooks, there's lots of things to latch onto, lots of interesting melodies and ways of composing this. So I think it's kind of an acquired taste, this song. You need to listen to it a few times. I had it stuck in my head all day today, and so I think it's really catchy, and I think people might fall in love with it, but they need more than once, and Italy being a big five country might be a bit of a problem. In the end, I decided to give 4.5 points for this song. In the end, the song counts 3 times, the staging counts twice, and that gives us an overall point total of 4.25 stars for Lucio Corsi and Italy. Again, a beautiful song from Italy. I think do subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet, before I tell you how I think Italy might do at Eurovision. Only a third of you watching this video are subscribed to this channel, so do subscribe and you won't miss, for example, my lyric interpretation video I might do for this song. Now, for the prediction. Obviously, Italy doesn't have to qualify. It's a big five country. I think it's smart, even though they didn't plan this, to send a ballot, because we will have a lot of televote-friendly songs qualifying from the semifinals. So that's a plus already. I am really stumped when it comes to predicting this one, because I don't know what the exact audience for this is. But I also don't know whether a lot of people might fall in love with this and then it will do really, really well. Whether the jury will recognize this for the wonderful composition and the great artist, and recognize him for the great artist that he is. Whether they will read the lyrics beforehand whether the staging will work in telling the story. And so it was really hard to predict this one. I think it is really hard to predict this one. In the end, for the televote, I went with a big range from 12th to 20th because I think a lot for the televote depends on the staging, number one, and number two depends on where in the final this will be performed. If it's second or third, I think it will be forgotten. If it's second to last, it might convince a lot of people to vote for it. And if the staging tells the story, it will work quite well. And for the jury, similarly, big range. I think if they really focus on the composition, on his artistry, they should put it in the top 5 actually, and or lower top 10 at least. But if they focus on other things, don't listen to the lyrics, think this is not a song that could do well on the radio, then maybe it will be lower. So it's quite difficult to say how Italy will do this year, but I think lower top 10 to top 15 might be a possibility for Italy. Let me know how you predict its chances in the comments. Maybe you have a completely different opinion. Now, before I let you go, let's look at your votes. First of all, your votes, how you rated the song. 17% gave this 5 stars, 19% 4 stars, 29% 3 stars, and 35% 1 or 2 stars. 35% 1 or 2 stars doesn't look good. However, in Eurovision, you vote for an entry, not against an entry. So having 17% that really love your song is actually more important than having 35% not like it as much. So not that bad of a sign for Italy, I think. Let's look at your other vote. Did you prefer Olli or Lucio? I think, unsurprisingly, kind of, Olli got 56%, Lucio got 44%, but hopefully my reaction here kind of convinced you of something else as well. Let's look at some of your comments. Sanya Stayodoha says, I much prefer this. It is unique, heartfelt, and just pure art. Lucio has such a great presence on stage, and I'm happy they are taking a risk in a positive way this year. Bravo Italia. Then 60 Sizzle says, I don't understand why Lucio is getting so little love. The song is so moving, poetic, and sincere. I can imagine myself lying on the grass together with him, dreaming, watching the clouds, talking about life. My new number one. That is beautifully put. Thank you so much for this comment. Then Just No Me Doleda says, this song is absolutely brilliant, lovely, calm, artistic, true art as always from Italy. Something for heart and mind. Great music. But there were also some not so great comments. Tony Aevi says, nothing special, easily forgotten. Rainbow Vamp says, it's meh, it's not bad, but it's not good either. I fear that Italy will not do well this year. And Panem says, I'm so happy that we will send the amazing artist, that's Lucio Corsi, to Eurovision. Wanted to end on a positive note here, and indeed most of the comments were really positive, not really in keeping with the points you gave in the stars, but maybe the people who really loved it commented, and that's also a good sign for the enthusiasm of the fans of this song. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments how you would rate the entry, how you predict Italy's chances. Do subscribe to the channel, and then I'll see you for my next video. See you then, and bye bye. Ciao.